Welcome to the Carson Career Summer Series. My name is Amy Tejeda-Lan, and I am the Industry Connections Coordinator at the Carson College of Business. I'll be helping facilitate today's seminar, Dell Business Connections in Tech Industry. As our attendees log in, we'd like to remind you of some helpful ground rules. Please make sure that your microphone is muted upon entry to prevent echoes during the presentation. Please consider turning on your video so the presenter can see your faces. Q&A will be at the end, so feel free to either raise your hand or drop those questions in the chat. WSU students, please make sure to complete the survey at the end of the session, which will also be dropped into the chat. Also, we'd like to remind you that a note that this session is being recorded. Thanks to all of our participants for joining us. And now, I'd like to extend a warm welcome to our presenter as they introduce themselves.
Thank you, Amy. Hi, I just wanted to, I'm super excited to be here. My name is Alex Popa, and I'm a Dell Presale Systems Engineer, formerly a graduate of the Carson College of Business, and I finished in the MIS program. So today I would just like to give, just a quick hour or so. It can definitely be a little less depending on our time here of Dell. And really, I just want to keep this a very, free format, just have it be a conversation, having a conversation about Dell technologies and maybe some things that, WSU students will find interesting about Dell technologies. So I'm super excited to be here talking to you all today. And so I can, begin presenting here. Let me just share my screen. Oops, 1 second. Let me just start my PowerPoint presentation. Let me begin by just talking a little bit about our Dell Technologies advantage, and just to give really a brief overview of Dell Technologies as a whole. So one of the big things that has happened, of course, in the IT industry, and it's impacted all of us, as you all know, is really the coronavirus epidemic that's, plagued us for the past year and a half. And a lot of our customers have really come to us with some of their biggest challenges caused by the pandemic. And they had a trustworthy partner of choice to really help them accomplish some of these impossible tasks that the pandemic, had us have, and just to, give a bit of where our industry is going as a whole in technology, is that we've seen a lot of digital transformation, and it's been really accelerated due to the pandemic. I'm sure that you guys have heard on the news that there's been a heavy impact of working from home. About 74% of companies plan to really permanently shift to a more remote work model, either in a hybrid capacity or in an all remote capacity in this post-COVID-19 world. So there's been a lot of changes in the way that people work. There's also been a wide range of rapid technology adoption as well. So spending on cloud infrastructure and cloud operating models has really grown in the past year or so. And we see, a lot of companies in the IT industry really, adopting these new models of technology and really focusing on different avenues that may not have existed in the past. And also, one of the big focuses that has definitely happened, at least within the last few months, has been, security and really threats from a variety of sources. I'm sure that you guys have probably heard by now in the news of the Colonial pipeline attack. And there has been, a wide range of disruption caused by these hacker groups, and large organizations are definitely taking notice of that, and really implementing a lot of new security technologies and methodologies as well to really, combat that. So just giving you a brief overview of this, and with these in mind, as well as with the COVID-19 epidemic, there has really been a re-examination of everything in technology, right? From our infrastructure, where we have our data, what our data is with data workloads, applications, security, our workplace transformation. So there's been a lot of change in technology as a whole, and Dell has been really been at the forefront of dealing with all of these issues that have been coming to fruition. Another thing that has happened is really it's very interesting, right? So I love this line. It says slow and steady won't really win the digital race. So there's definitely a lot of companies in all of the industries of the global economy that really don't have a defined technology structure, right? So their level of technical maturity is a little bit I guess lagging behind, a lack of adaptiveness, and really, just not being able to keep up with these fast changing times, right? And there also has been a big reduction in the S&P 500 as a whole, and the average company lifespan has decreased. But that means is that this will definitely enable a lot of companies to really shift their priorities of being those digital leaders, and succeeding in a post COVID-19 world. So there's a lot of excitement, and there's going to be a lot of opportunities, especially with these new technologies. And really, students will, once students go over to the marketplace, it's definitely going to be a very exciting time in terms of dealing with these new industry capabilities as a whole. So I've talked a little bit about just the industry as a whole and some of the transformations that have occurred, but what are we doing as Dell Technologies, and what am I doing as well in really creating this technology transformation? So what we're doing is really creating, delivering, and protecting different types of solutions. So let me start at least with the first bullet. We're really creating what our customer craves, right? So we're modernizing software, adopting cloud native platforms, and really integrating all these different avenues of apps and data to really be integrated all together, and creating a ton of solutions along the way. Besides creating these solutions, we're also delivering them as well. We want to be able to deliver a quick experience for all of our end users, having a true multi-cloud experience from the edge to the core to the cloud. So all of our customers and everyone that uses our Dell portfolio of solutions is able to, have this core data at hand and accessible to the end user. And of course, being able to protect against these various cyber threats and make really a secure security platform that is intrinsic, pervasive, and proactive as well. So now that I've talked a little bit about some of these different ways that Dell really enables technological transformation, is we're really a wide range company. I think that one of the things that a lot of people, especially my friends always say is, oh, you guys are just a PC company, right? You guys just sell laptops and monitors, but that's not necessarily true. We're a very large encompassing company, right? From everything from the Internet of Things to new technologies like artificial intelligence and augmented reality, as well as venturing into security or cloud technology. So we're one of those companies that's really trying to push for digital innovation everywhere we can find it, but also encompassing so many different technologies, which is one of the reasons I love working for Dell, is for the fact that we're able to encompass so much. And just with this encompassment of different things, we also want to make sure that we're transforming the workforce as well. I know that I mentioned it a little bit in the beginning of this presentation, so I guess this is more of a repetition. But it's being able to really create a workplace for wherever you need to work. Another, making sure that everything is secured and really building a foundation for digital innovation, right? And enabling whoever uses our Dell Technologies portfolio of solutions to really be able to take advantage of digital innovation as well. And then this is just another one of our work from anywhere slides. I think I've already mentioned in the previous slide. But yeah, so these are just I guess a few statistics of being able to work from anywhere, and how technology as a whole influences how we're going to be working in the future. But now I kind of want to get into more about Dell and Dell's organization as a whole. So, we are a global company of over 150,000 employees. So our outreach is truly immense in a lot of ways. And our goal is to enable everyone to work remotely and to work from anywhere. We want to be able to have that true global outreach to every corner of this planet. And of course, from what I've mentioned before, Dell Technologies is really, the essential partner for a wide variety of industries to accelerate their digital transformation, and enabling our partners to really, exceed in their innovation practices. So I know that I've mentioned just about Dell, but I also wanted to just touch upon some statistics just based upon where we stand in the market, right? So we are a company that has over $90 billion in total annual revenue. So we're a pretty big company in that regard. We're a Fortune 500 company with, and we're also serving around 98% of Fortune 500 customers as a whole. So we have a wide encompassing amount of customers in the enterprise large corporation space. And we also love innovating in a variety of different technologies, right? We have around over 27,000 patents and application, always providing more money to different types of projects, which is something that's really interesting to me, especially, if you're an innovative individual and you want to, exceed in pushing whatever idea you have forth, Dell does provide you with those abilities. And we also have around $20 billion of R&D investment in just the last 5 fiscal years. So definitely trying to stay ahead of the curve, pushing for innovation and having that aggressive investing from R&D and engineering as well, to push forward different types of technologies, which is one of the things that's really cool about Dell. And another thing I'd want to touch on as well is we also have a lot of different social impact goals. So It's called our 2030 Moonshot Goal. So we're trying to do a variety of things from sustainability. So just to point out with the first category, I guess, is we are trying to have a one-to-one recycling versus reuse. So every single, I believe it's something like every pound of material that we generate, we want to also be able to, have a ratio that we're recycling everything we use to have more of a, ability to be a sustainable company. And also making sure that we're cultivating inclusion. One of our initiatives is to have a 50-50 gender representation in our company, right? We have a wide diversity and inclusion program in which there's a ton of different outreach programs just based in Dell as well. And we also have this thing resonates with me as well, is our 1 Billion Better Lives program. So we invest heavily in different foundations and funds that are, for good social causes, or, being able to provide food or water for some regions of the world that are in need. And one other thing I'd like to point about Dell is you can actually start your own fundraiser. I've actually started my own fundraiser with a nonprofit that I work for in the conservation field. So you're definitely able to have a wide range of social impact with Dell. And we also like to, make sure that we're upholding the top ethics and privacy compliance regulation in our industry, right? We want to make sure that our decision making is all ethical, and being able to really make the world a better place is one of our key goals at Dell. And we've also met some of these goals already. So in our last year in 2020, we actually managed to, use about 100+ million pounds of sustainable products back into our products. We were able to recycle 2 billion pounds of used electronics as well. And that has really been, one of the things that Dell has focused on is we want to make sure that our results are published. Being able to be a more green company as a whole, reducing our full energy usage, shifting over to renewables, as well as having a wide range of different programs, and really having like a statistical approach and making sure that all of our goals are made aware of in our industry. So those are just some of the things that we like to pride ourselves on as a company. And just to give at least a little bit more of a overview of Dell, is really just to have creating these technologies that drive human progress. And what we're essentially trying to do, besides just driving human progress, is to become the essential infrastructure company from the edge to the data center to the cloud. And it's not necessarily just for the current applications or technologies that exist now, but really into this cloud native world that we're entering. And our entire corporate strategy is really to lead that transformation of business through IT transformation, workforce transformation, security transformation, application transformation. And we don't intend on just being the technology company of today, but really provide ourselves with being the technology company of the future. And I know that I've already mentioned some of these stats over here. We have around 157,000 team members, and around 40,000 of those are actually in our sales force. So we have a wide range of career opportunities in Dell Technologies as well. So now I've given, I guess, a brief brief overview of the company as a whole, but what does Dell do, right? So if we don't just focus on the some of the technologies that we create, I kind of want to just highlight some of the different organizations that pertain part of Dell, right? So we have Dell as a whole organization, right? So we have Dell, which is our parent corporation and incorporates most of our different technology products and as well as our corporate structure. We also have companies like Dell EMC. So Dell EMC is actually the under branch of Dell that I work under. So that is our infrastructure technology for organizations, right? So anything from computer servers to storage arrays to networking and all of these different types of technologies that really build up the cloud. I'm actually part of that group. We also have VMware. So VMware is our software counterpart. So now we've actually become two different organizations, but we have a very deep partnership with VMware, and that is one of the world's leading virtualization software companies that really is able to enable companies in having connections between hardware and software. So that's one of our critical partners in this ecosystem. And also VirtuStream. So VirtuStream is essentially one of our cloud companies, right, where we're able to really run mission critical applications like SAP in the cloud. So they're essentially their own cloud company under Dell. And another one of the companies that we operate with is SecureWorks. So SecureWorks is one of the leading managed security service providers for organizations. They have been in this field for a very, very long time in providing sustainable security practices for organizations, as well as really creating leading security software in their space. So those are some of the critical parts of Dell that really encompasses our entire family of different solutions. But now what I want to get into is what would be interesting for Carson Cougs and some of the different departments that we have in our company, well, group/department, which really defines us overall, right? So we have our infrastructure solutions group. So that's also the organization that I'm a part of. It's a little confusing with Dell. So I would equate Dell EMC with our infrastructure solutions group. And what this group essentially does is really that whole IT transformation and really encompassing our entire data center business. So this group includes everyone from a more technical backing, right? So anywhere from program, product managers or software engineers, all the way to sales people, sales engineers, and it's a very wide encompassing group overall. And our second group is really what Dell is typically known for, which is our client solutions group, which is really focusing on desktops, monitors, laptops, as well as Alienware. So if you're interested in video games, I don't know if you guys knew that Alienware is actually part of our Dell umbrella. So there's a wide range of really end user solutions that we offer to the world. And our digital and IT organization is really the IT organization that supports all of Dell, right? It's led by our Chief Digital Officer, Jen Felch. And it's really being able to, making sure that that Dell is running and having, as many simplified procedures as possible to really being able to, enable us as a company. And then next up is we have sales engineering. So that's actually the group that I'm part of. So what we do as sales engineer in the sales engineering departments in Dell is to really help customers come up with the best technological infrastructure solutions and really creating decision making for businesses to achieve business outcomes. So that's my position, right? I think that I guess that's one of the things that we like to do as a company is really come up with these solutions and present them to um, customers. And I also wanted to just briefly touch upon our Dell Technology Services. So that's our global operations team, which encompasses everything that is incorporated under our business college, right? So anywhere from customer service to supply chain and professional services, different branches of marketing, sales operations. So it's really one of our more strategic organizations, and it's really enabling our customers to have their outcomes provided for. And it's definitely taking it's definitely been a growing part of our organization, not just from a global perspective, but also here in the United States as well. So under technology services, I also wanted to mention Dell Financial Services. So, if there's any accounting or finance students that, are interested in, I guess, corporate financial services, this is, one of our avenues. So it's really a global provider of innovative payment and consumption solutions. We support all of our customers across the globe. So anywhere from a small business to a very, very big global corporation, we can finance everything, right? Hardware, software, services, and we enable customers to really consume their technologies whichever the way they would like, right? From a CapEx model to an OpEx model. We can really deliver those solutions to customers. So I think that I've mentioned at least some of the different things that Dell does, and accelerating this digital transformation it's a lot of hard work. It's why it's not an easy endeavor, but a partner like Dell Technologies is really important because it brings you really the right technology and the capabilities of our entire organization of 157,000 people and a global network of partners, specialists, and different types of folks who are really ready to roll up their sleeves and help you with what needs to be done. So so yeah, that's essentially Dell Technologies in a nutshell. I hope I gave you guys a bit of an impression of what Dell Technologies is. And now we can start pretty soon here into the Q&A, but I wanted to just provide you with some links. So what you're able to do is, if you're interested in any jobs with Dell, we're able to provide you with, some links over here for student opportunities. And this can really be any, so I truly believe that Dell has a position for every single discipline that's taught in the Carson College of Business, right? And then also wanted to provide you with my contact information as well, a.pope@dell.com. That's my email. Please feel free if you have any questions to let me know if there's anything I can help assist you with. And then I also have provided my LinkedIn for you all as well. So yeah, I hope you all enjoyed this brief overview, and yeah, now we can definitely start on our Q&A session, if that's all right.
Thanks a lot, Alex. Looks like there's a first question in the chat for you. Will you talk about your path of getting a job with Dell?
Yeah, absolutely. So my path of getting a job at Dell was really I attended our Dell Days event. Um, I believe it was sometime in 2018. So I believe it might have been the first time that Dell Days was launched at Wazoo. And for those of you that don't know, Dell Days is essentially a program in which Dell and my team. As well over in the sales engineering organization, we spend some time, typically a week, speaking with students at the university. So it's a really good, just intro into Dell, sales engineering, software engineering, as well as some of the other um, career options that are at Dell. So I learned about this. I learned about Dell Days. So I learned about this program, and I was like, you know what? I'm interested, right? So I didn't apply the first year around, but the second year I attended every session over at Dell Days and really, had a conversation with everyone that was there. Um, that was working for Dell, and it gave me a really good picture of Dell as a company, how innovative they are as a whole. And I somehow managed to get an interview. I was a little bit worried at first that I might, not have like the qualifications of someone that's 15 years in the IT industry. But yeah, so that was a little bit about my path of getting a job with Dell. And then I did see a few more questions coming up, so I'll try to answer them all. So what's the most challenging aspect of my position? Oh, that's a good question. This can be murky waters even for me. I mean, it all depends. I think that I'll give this I guess a little bit of a one-on-one response, right? So I think the most challenging aspect truly is just communication. I think that there's a lot of miscommunication that can occur in life and whatever situation you're dealt with. So I guess that making sure that you're able to communicate the problem at hand and finding a resolve to that problem. I think that that's one of the more challenging things. But I think that at the end of the day, if you repeat yourself or clarify what you need to get done, it will get done, right? But just being able to keep an open mind and communicate effectively, I think that's probably one of the more difficult things I've dealt with in the past. And then I can answer. Okay, so next question here is: would you say the connections from Dell says helped you secure an interview? Yes, I do. I think that the more connections you have, not just with Dell as a company, but let's say, if you want to go for an interview at any company, like let's say Microsoft, or you want to join Deloitte, for example, making sure you stabilize networking and have that networking in place and really make connections and have conversations with people that will help you secure an interview. But being you have to be true to yourself, right? Like you have to have a conversation with someone and really be able to communicate what your ambitions are, what your goals are, and being able to articulate that. I think that that will help enable you to make these connections with the company that you're looking to secure a position with. So how much experience did you need to get the position you're currently in? So for my role in pre-sales or sales engineering, it was, I started from scratch, right? It was a new pre-sales program, so a new sales engineering program. So I started out essentially from kind of zero, right? But they were able to train me over a year-long process. So I definitely got the education needed to do my role. But yeah, so I think that's one of the things is that experience can really be a double-edged sword, right? Some some employers will definitely look for more experience, but I think that Dell definitely is one of those companies that teaches you and enables you to do the work that you need to do, right? And then, okay, so next question after that is, does Dell have multiple locations within the Pacific Northwest with different job opportunities? Where are the Dell locations mainly located? So I believe I mentioned just, how we're truly a global company, right? So we do have different jobs over in the Pacific Northwest right now because everything is remote. It gives you a breadth of options. So we're able to really shoot whatever area of the United States or the world you're looking to secure a position with Dell. In the Pacific Northwest, I do know that, there is opportunities potentially with our sales organization over in the Pacific Northwest, but there's also different positions with software engineering as well. And I would say that, with this new remote way of doing things, you can really work from anywhere, and be successful. Like I'm constantly, going around the clock sometimes, having conversations with people that are on Eastern time, Central time. So, you can truly be located anywhere with Dell. Okay, so the next question here, which is our latest one, is I heard for the pre-sales role, there is a year-long launch training program. Could you talk about what the launch program is like? Yes. So now it is called, so it's actually been renamed and it's called our Presales Academy. So that's actually the academy that I joined coming out of WSU. And the launch program, as it was called, is really an immersive program within our inside sales organization that really teaches you about the domain of pre-sales, as well as public speaking skills, having technical conversations with customers. So what the Presales Academy what it is it's a program really designed towards pre-sales and really teaching everyone around the entire pre-sales process and having those characteristics in mind. And then, okay, what's the next one is, what did you learn after you started work that you wish you had known before? That's a good question. I would say that I wish I knew some certain technologies that I wasn't aware of before, at least in my role. But I definitely think that when you're coming into a big company like Dell, there's a lot of resources in place that enable you to be able to educate yourself. So in retrospect, yeah, I wish I could have known some of these different technologies that I was not made aware of before. But with a company like Dell, the really cool thing was I was able to really have all the resources and education needed to be able to do the job. And I've really enjoyed learning so much with Dell. Like I'm a big fan of education wherever you can find it, and taking the time to learn more, having that willingness to learn. I think that's something we look for as a company, and you can definitely learn so much with a company like Dell. Okay, so the next question is, what should students do in their first year of a new job to help aid their success? So students can do a lot of things to really develop. So I'll answer this from two perspectives. I think that one of the things that students should definitely look for is making connections, networking, asking questions about even, internal processes, how they work, how everything kind of integrates together. And then, whatever discipline you end up in, it's also really important to, educate yourself, read an article about your position or your industry to really help aid you in understanding things. I think that, this kind of symbiosis between making connections and educating oneself, I think that really leads for your development as a whole, right? And focusing on those two aspects is really important. Are there internship opportunities with Dell? What does that process look like? So yes, there is a ton of internship opportunities with Dell. Every single, different, I guess, organization in Dell actually offers internship opportunities, right? Like, let's say you're interested into, Dell financial services, or you're interested in something like software engineering or product management. There are so many internship opportunities for you. And that process is actually shown in under jobs.dell.com with under the students category. There's a internship link, so you can find out more about that. So the process typically entails around an 8 to 12 week program. So you definitely have quite a bit of time of just learning about, the company during those 8-12 weeks. They typically give you a project to work on during those 8-12 weeks, and just, make you understand, what the position is about. But I didn't do the internship with Dell, but from my colleagues that have done it, they've really enjoyed it and had a spectacular time learning from those internships. So next question: did I have a professional mentor while I was at Wazoo who helped me? If so, what type of help did they provide? So I did not necessarily have a professional mentor besides my, family or friends connections that were older and were already specialized in the IT industry. So I had an understanding of technology, of Dell as a company as well, but I did not have a professional mentor. But I must say, if I were to do it again, I think a professional mentor is a wonderful idea. I think that, the more you can learn from a mentor or someone that will endorse for you is really important. And, that will help you, kind of stabilize the path that you would want to take in your career, as well as exposing you to new ways of thinking and new opportunities as well. So I would definitely encourage anyone to, have that professional mentor. Once I came into Dell, I did have mentors, but if I would have done one more thing differently at Wazoo, I would have definitely loved to have a mentor to help. And then there is, do you know how often the undergraduate marketing development program opens up? There doesn't seem to be any current openings. So I'm not so sure about the marketing development program in general, but if you would like, I can definitely look that up for you. So the schedule for these things, they can open different times of the year. But yeah, if that's a a question of yours, I can definitely address it with the Carson College team. During the interview process, how did you, I think the word in between is to set yourself up apart from the competition. I think just being yourself, honestly. I know that seems like kind of a lousy answer in some aspects, but you have to be yourself. I mean, if you're yourself, people will truly get to know you and be willing to have a conversation with you. And that's really important, right? You don't want to pretend you're someone else in any way, shape, or form during the interview process, right? You just be yourself list your expectations for the role, ask about the role, and just build the relationship with whoever's asking you that question, right? But yeah, I would just always invoke, just being yourself and being true to yourself as well. All right, I think if anyone else has any questions, I can even take audio questions as well.
Would you be able to ask the Carson College regarding that question I had?
Oh, sorry, could you repeat yourself? I didn't hear that last
Would you
part.
be able to ask the Carson Undergraduate College program about the marketing development program?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll definitely bring it up to them, and we can have those conversations. Absolutely.
All right, let's see. Just giving a few moments for to the chat here, just in case. I'm just going to share my screen. So we just want to say thank you, Alex, for your insights with us. It was just great to have you join us. Always a pleasure to have a Carson Coog come back and tell you, let us know firsthand what their experience has been. And with that, I just want to, as a reminder, ask all attendees to complete the event survey before logging off. That will be delivered in the chat momentarily. As you complete this survey, I do have a few announcements regarding the rest of the series. You can feel free to click on the links that are dropped in the chat as well, or even scan for the QRs that are going to be on the screen. So tomorrow, we have landing an internship, steps to success from BP. So they will again be at noontime, so you can register using that QR code or the link they'll be dropped in the chat. And then on Thursday, the last day of the career series, we have Slalom, how to maximize your informational interview. So those are upcoming events this week. Looking ahead to the fall, the Carson Internship Fair is happening September 9th, and that is on Handshake. And Career Networking Night is happening September 30th, and that is also up on Handshake. And then just as a note, Dell Days is also happening in September. So look out for an email from the Carson Center regarding those details, but they will be making some stops in classrooms and more details to come on that. So that's we're working on that together. And then last but not least, if you are looking for assistance with your job search, your interview prep, resume, cover letters, all you need to do is actually log on to Handshake. You can just go, when you log in, use your WSU ID, click on Career Centers, Appointments, and then you can set your schedule with any number of career specialists here at the Carson Center. And so with that, thank you for attending the Carson Career Summer Series, and we will see you tomorrow.